Good evening, folks. It's going to be kind of a short video tonight. I'm going to kind of title this video Azure Standard versus Quality Sales in Fairbanks. That's a local company to us Alaskans here in the interior. And I bought some items kind of as an experiment to see what it would cost. I'll put a link for you folks so you can see that are in the Fairbanks, Delta Junction, Nenana area. To my other friends that are down towards Glen Allen, Copper Center, down that way, I would go to the hub and see where they get their supplies from. What I did when I used to work at a place here, we had a C-store, and this is who used to bring us our supplies. And I bought stuff from them before. And for me personally, what I did is I filled out a credit app and I gave them a credit card number. No credit check, nothing like that. And for that way, now what I can do is I can order from them, and this is a restaurant supply, so you're going to be buying stuff in bulk. Some things you can buy individually, but a lot of things you'll buy in bulk. And for me, I can have it delivered to Delta Junction. So, and actually the company I used to work for, the owners live about a mile down the road from me, so I can actually almost have it dropped off at my house, I bet, if I wanted to. But I'm willing to go into Delta. So I'm going to give you some prices here of stuff I bought. I didn't make a big purchase because you've got to call them for prices if you want. Have your item numbers, and their complete menu is on the internet, and you have to get an item number. They do not have prices at this point in time. They used to, but because of inflation and everything is going so high so fast, by the time they'd print a price list, it'd be obsolete. So I will just give you this information so you can take it for what it's worth. So the items I purchased was I got a quart of beaver horseradish hot. Okay, I used to buy it in the little jars. That quart cost me $7.96 at Quality Sales in Fairbanks. If I would have purchased that from Azure Standard, $47.44. Okay. Plus you have to pay freight on that coming up. The next item I got a ham, and it was pretty good size ham, about 11 pounds I would say. It's like the cheap ham you get in the grocery store. It's all pre-sliced and made up. I like that for cutting up, making ham and cheese omelets and stuff, and ham sandwiches. It's a farmland ham, and on here, okay, it says 13-pound ham. Okay. Yeah, when I saw the price, it kind of made me wink a little bit because they used to be about 30 bucks. This one was $62.83. Azure Standard doesn't have them. Potatoes, Yukon Gold. I got 50 pounds. Now, what I will tell you is these are just little guy ones. There's nothing real big with them, and which is fine for me because I took 15 pounds and I made mashed potatoes, and then I'm taking another 5 or 10 pounds and I'm going to make I'm making beef stew with them right now, about 30 pounds of beef stew. That's going to leave me some left over, but with that I've got like an apple peeler and I can make curly fries. Okay, so 50 pounds Yukon Golds cost me $88.15. Azure Standard was 60 bucks. Okay, keep in mind on this Azure Standard stuff, you got to pay the trucking on back up. Not the trucking, but the shipping rate. Okay, I got a can of just regular cheese sauce, like the nacho cheese sauce you would find at Costco. And it's a gallon can. and number 10 can. That was $27.53. Azure Standard, $101.54. Okay, and that comes in a powder from Azure. The next thing I got was a large can of chunk tuna light, 66 and a half ounces, which is the commercial can, because I want to make tuna salad or tuna fish through the freeze dryer. So that can cost me $24.68. The price from Azure Standard is $57.70. And last but not least, I got a gallon of molasses. And I'd purchased this from Azure Standard in the past. And a gallon of molasses out of Fairbanks is $32.29. Azure Standard is $24.02. And so with that, those are all the things I ordered. My total order, my stuff came up to $321.49. I'm trying to think. Do they not get them on here? They missed it. I got 15 pounds of onions too. It's not on here. So I can't tell you what that cost. But anyway, all right. So now, just keep in mind that with Azure Standard, if I was to order from them, and I'm not saying I won't, because they may have some stuff that I want that Quality Sales doesn't have, but I have to order. I order from them. I have to pay that freight surcharge from the sea, from the ship coming up, then the trucking charge up from Fairbanks, and then I've got to spend another $120 in gas and a day's worth of my time to go get it. Whereas the Quality Sales, the gal is really nice up there, and let me see if I can find her business card here. And the gal to talk to at Quality Sales, her name is Stacy Keeney. And their phone number for Quality Sales is 907-458-0000. She's the one that handles the outside accounts. So, very nice lady. And she just handed me a credit app and said, fill this out. And I did, and I just emailed it back to her. Like I say, I gave a credit card so it's on file like I do with my fuel. And so when I ordered, they come down on Tuesdays and Thursdays, so I got my choice of days to pick up. Plus, I don't have to drive the roads. Now, for my friends down towards Glen Allen way, if you could get in touch, if the hub will tell you where they get their stuff from. Or perhaps, I don't know if there's anybody in Copper Center or maybe at Kenny Lake, that C-store there, maybe they would tell you, because that would be pretty close. So you could order from them, and then you just give them a phone number, and they'll call you when they get close, and you go meet them and get your stuff. And so I'm going to use myself an example. So I'm equal to the price, or maybe a little less on some is cheaper with Azure, but I have to pay that freight charge on Azure, plus I have to drive to Fairbanks. And gas today here in Delta was $4.51 a gallon. So if I take the van, I'm looking at a pretty easy $120 round trip, plus the freight. So even on the stuff that was cheaper with Azure, if you add that 120 plus, I don't know, I better figure at least another $100 on there for the freight coming up. That makes it quite a bit more expensive, plus a day of your time, where I can order this from Quality Sales. They bring it to Delta. That's a 15-minute drive in for me. If I work it right, there's a big gas station there, so I can get gas. I can do all my stuff. Plus, I do more than that when I'm in town. So anyways, folks, that's just what I'm going to give you for now. And if you have any questions, please feel free to comment. And I'll see if I can get this maybe copied off, and I'll put a link to the company in the description, and that'll work for here, for like Nenana or Delta Junction or places in between. And that's why I say for you folks down north towards the Glen Allen way, probably be better to check that way. If that doesn't work for you, you could always do your shopping and have it delivered to here in Delta, which would say if you're going to Fairbanks, that would save you about 220 miles of driving. So, and I know Delta is no short drive from Glen Allen either. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, I got a picture here, and I need to show it because this is for a friend of mine. His name is Art Bruce. He's down in Phoenix, Arizona, and his brother Jerry was my metal shop teacher when I was in high school, and he's the one that taught me how to weld. And the welding there, of course, even at that time, I always wanted to come to Alaska. And so he taught me to weld, and from there I got certified and I came up to the pipeline. So this is for Jerry. If you can see that, Jerry, that was me when I was a sophomore in high school. Okay, kind of skinny there. That was the weight that was taken during football season. I was about 152 pounds there. So you can kind of see that. Art, maybe you can forward that on to Jerry, and then he can see, so he can identify. We've talked on the phone, but he doesn't really remember me, and he remembers me welding on the pipeline, but he doesn't remember what I look like, which, my gosh, that's been 60 years ago or so. So anyway, with that, folks, I would like to wish you all a happy and peaceful Thanksgiving, and I hope you can have all your full tummies so you're all full of food. And if you're going to watch football, you can watch that tomorrow. I will be working probably. I guess I should do a video. I got some hobby projects in the basement, and then I've got a new water pump I'm putting together for my cistern that's down there. The one that's on there is getting kind of wore out, so I'll get that off and get it rebuilt. That'll give me a spare. And to my subscribers that are not in Alaska, we always like to have spares here because as you can hear me talking, there's nothing that's going to be just a mile or two drive. And invariably when something goes wrong, it goes wrong at the worst time. For example, my cistern pump, that started giving me problems when my well line froze up last year. And it worked well enough to get me by for a day to get it thawed out. But that's also kind of a fire source for me. I have a 1,000-gallon cistern in the basement. And so I want to get that going. And it's just kind of like generators, chainsaws, anything that you're going to use, you always want to have at least 2 of and maybe 3 of. And because it seems like whenever you need something, it's always in the worst conditions. A few years ago, probably more like 8 or 9 years ago, we got a really bad windstorm, and at night it was about 1 o'clock in the morning. It's about 20 below zero. The wind was howling, and my computer, I had a big tower computer here, and the unit just popped and started smoking. And that was in bed. It was like about 1 o'clock in the morning. And so I went to turn on my lights, and everything was just a little dim glow. And so I didn't really know what to think. And so I ran downstairs, and I got my meter, and I put it in my outlet. And One outlet I would check, or two outlets I would check, would read 120 volts, just like it should. The next outlet I would read was reading 260 volts. And so anything that was plugged into that line, that side on my box in the basement, because your wiring comes in, it splits each leg of power. So anything that was plugged in that got to 260 got fried, like my Toyo stove, and trying to think what else I lost. I lost quite a bit of stuff on that. But anyway, so that night, got dressed, went out to the shop, and I went out and walked my power line. And my power line is about 15 feet up in the air. When I got to my power line, it was about here on me. And I had a big old tree laying across it. And here's a lesson for you folks that don't think about this. But as you see me cutting firewood in the fall, I did that and I put my saw away. I got done and I just put it away. Because I'm not going to need it, not till next year. So went out, had the saw in the shop, and in case you're not wondering, I'm a Husqvarna fan. I used to be steel, but steel has just been real bad for me, the new ones. And so it was, like I say, about 20 below. I had to gas the saw up, and fifth pull and it started, and it was running, which was a good sign. It was a good sign, all right. And but some dummy, and you're probably looking at him right here, when he put the saw away, put it away with a dull chain. And when I say dull, I mean dull. It probably, when I cut down on the bottom, I get into the dirt. Of course, that dull chain really bad. So here I am out here trying to saw a tree off. It was probably about 15 inches in diameter with that dull chain. Got it done. It took me about 10 minutes to get through it. And I was standing in probably knee-deep snow. And satellite phone came in, because I used a satellite phone to call the power company, because it took our phone line runs right underneath the power line. So it took that out. And what had happened is when it fell, it pulled one line off the transformer. And so it broke the insulators on the transformer. Long story short, they had to replace the transformer. To Golden Valley's credit, 1 o'clock in the morning, and I think it was about 2 o'clock that afternoon, I had power again. And so, anyway, that was one instance. Power line coming to the house from the pole. I have enough extra power line to run from the pole to the house. About 3 years ago, it was 54 below zero, and my power line was buried, and again, I lost a leg of power. One leg broke, and that was copper line. I won't use aluminum. And none of us had ever heard of a copper line breaking buried 4 feet in the ground, but it did. So had enough wire here that I could run another line from the pole to the house. I just ran it across the top of the ground, because at 50 below 01, you're not going to do any digging, and 2, you just want to get it hooked up. And so, anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that's just a little thing for why you want more than one of something here in Alaska. So with that, folks, I'm going to shut the video down. And like I say, if you have any questions, comments, please feel free to leave them. And again, I wish you all a very happy and peaceful Thanksgiving. Take care, and God bless.